Hi everyone, this is Ricky with Bromero Cards. I hope you're having a great week. In this video, I'm going to show you how to make a card using a hero art stamp set called Cactus Animals. So let's get started. The first thing we're going to do is some ink blending, and what we're going to do is go ahead and place this circle on the card. I'm going to do some ink blending using some Tumbled Glass by Tim Holtz. It's a distressed oxide ink. And I'm just using my brush here, and I'm going to go ahead and do some ink blending. I think my pad is getting a little dry, so I was having a little issue blending, but it did eventually start to work out here. So we're going to finish up that ink blending, and this is the best part, always removing this. It looks so nice. And then I just need to remove some of the glue. It's going to be covered up, so I really don't have to move it anyway. The next thing we're going to do is put this through an embossing folder to give it a little bit of texture. This is just a random embossing folder that I have. You could use pretty much any one that you'd want for this card. So then I'm going to cut this down to about 4 inches by 5 1/4. A little bit later in the video, you're going to see me cut this a little smaller because I needed it to be a little smaller when it came to the paper that I was using. The next thing we're going to do is use some stitched circles here. I believe this is from MFT, I believe. Let's see here. No, I can't see the label. I think it's MFT. The link will be down in the description. The next thing we're going to do is use some random pattern paper I have here. The theme is cactus, so I thought I would use some succulents. Went ahead and put that through the die cutting machine, and we're going to set that aside. After I try it on the card first, of course. And then we're going to go ahead and glue it on. And then now I'm going to look for some paper that I want to use. I want to use this light pink. It's from MFT as well. And I'm going to cut this a little bit longer than 4 by 5 1/4. Because I want a little white space around on the card base when I put this all together. And then this is where I discovered that I needed to cut this a little bit shorter on each side, so that the gingham print behind it would actually show. Now I'm just going to try this out, make sure everything looks good. Yep, enough of it shows from each side of the card base, so we're good with that. The next thing we're going to do is go ahead and get stamping. So we're using this Hero Arts stamp set called Cactus Animals, and I'm going to use the little turtle that is down at the bottom of the stamp set. Because I had already practiced this card, I already had the stamps on the Misty here. Misty's a great tool. Already had it on there, so all I had to do was re-ink these up. Basically what I did was I cut him out of this and saved the other ones for later uses. I did go ahead and stamp this twice because my magnet was not working well with my stamps. It was down too far. So here we go. We have that finally stamped, and we're going to go ahead and get coloring. So just listen to some music as you watch me color. If you don't want to watch me color, come back at around 7 minutes and 12 seconds. The next thing we're going to do is go ahead and get started on the sentiment. We're going to be using a sentiment from the same stamp set that says, "I'll stick with you." I'm going to go ahead and get that on my acrylic block, and then also go ahead and get my Versamark out. I'm going to use my embossing tool to make sure that we don't have, oh gosh, can you hear my dogs? So I purposely left that in so you can hear that, you know, while we're doing these voiceovers, life is still happening around us. And so I thought you might want to hear that. So we're going to go ahead and heat emboss this and go ahead and get it melted. And then the next thing we're going to do is use some of these sentiment strips that I have here. And I'm just going to find one that fits the sentiment. Go ahead and get that through the, we're going to get it straight first. But then we're going to use some low-tack tape and go ahead and get that put through the die cut machine so that we can go ahead and get the card started and getting it ready. So here you'll see me just putting it in different places, trying to figure out exactly where I want to put everything. I'm going to make this into a banner, so I'm going to cut the end of this off a little bit, and then we're going to do a little fishtail to make it look like a banner onto the card. The next thing I'm going to do is go ahead and get this sentiment glued onto the turtle because it's going to be a part of the turtle. Excuse me. And we'll go ahead and get that glued down. Now I'm just checking everything out to make sure everything fits, and then we're going to go ahead and get this also glued down to the main card base. And sometimes it's hard for me to choose which side to use because I like the embossing look, but sometimes I like the embossing that's risen, and then sometimes I like it how it's sunk in, so you just have to make a choice there. We're going to go ahead and get both of these pieces onto the 110 pound Neenah Solar White Crest card base that I have here. And we're going to continue putting the card together. I'm going to use some 3M foam tape to go ahead and get this propped onto the card. And I'll be a little generous with the tape just to make sure that everything sticks and everything will stay input. We'll go ahead and get the backing off of that here soon. It's pretty much where I want it to be right there. So we're going to go ahead and get the backing off and get that stuck onto the card. And we want to make sure it's straight and perfect. Wow, my head did not make it into the camera. Amazing. The next thing we're going to do is we are going to play around with some jewels here, or oh, you hear everything going off on my computer right now. Sorry about that. We're going to go ahead and use some of these little crystals here, and we're just going to find a color that matches and that's close to the card, and we're going to go ahead and get those put on to the card. And normally I try to do it in odd numbers when I'm adding this kind of stuff to the card, because when everything's even or all on one side or in a line, sometimes it could be a little weird looking on a card. So I like to spread it around and use some odd numbers. I think they also call it the power of the triangle or something like that. I don't know. Not that fancy. But anyway, I want to thank you guys for watching this video. Please follow me on all the social medias by searching for Bromeral Cards. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe and like the video, and I will talk to you later. Have a great week. Bye.